This is Greg Noyes, Pacific West Home Inspections, and today I'm doing a house up in Camarillo. It's Wednesday, July 16th, 2014. First thing I would do is go over a couple items here, and one would be how to turn off the water. Now the main water shutoff is at the front of the house, and it's a 3/4 inch pipe coming up from the street, and it has the type of valves we like to see. We call it a ball valve, so it's very easy to operate. It's stainless steel, so it usually never have any problems with it. This red handle, just move it off to the side, and then shuts all the water off. Coming into the house here, it's all copper, and under all the plumbing fixtures, toilets, and sinks, I've seen copper today. There's a little bit of galvanized out here in front for your sprinklers, but should not matter too much. And the next thing we're going to look at is how to shut off the gas. So there's a big tree out here in front, and there is a sewer clean out installed. So they may also having some drain line problems here at the house. So I would recommend a sewer line inspection as well. So now that we're over at the left side of the house where your gas meter is, and this valve is over here, and you take a wrench, and when the tang's up and down, it's on. When it's sideways, it's off. And you have a vent here for your dryer as well. I noticed a lot of the screens were either damaged or missing today, so that'll be in the report. They have changed out the windows to vinyl. It's your cable box. In the very back of the house is where we find your electric meter and main panel. So it's no main disconnect here, and there's over 7 breakers. And today, just in the kitchen, we use 6 breakers. So with today's standards, this would not be a well breakered or protected home. And you do need a main disconnect. So basically, you're now at the point where you have to change out your panel. They have overhead wires coming into the house, and they use a 3-wire system. And today, you can call the utility company, and they'll change the cable where these are older wires. They're 50 years old, and they'll put a newer cable in, and that would be a safer way to bring the power into the house. Next thing we're going to climb the roof. Before I get on the ladder for the roof, I'm going to just go over a couple of things with the garage here. We find the water heater here, and the top supply pipes should be insulated. And I have a feeling that they have a transite vent pipe there, and we'll know that when we hit the roof. The siphon straps are very loose, and the tank is not blocked from the wall to the tank, so it does move around. It's at 2002, so this is way over the 10 years where the typical life is. And the bottom here is missing what we call a sediment trap on the gas line. And you notice too there's no drip pan here at the under the water heater. And your bottom strap should be 4 inches or more, as you can see it's closer than that. They also have an old salt-based softener. We don't use these anymore. Most cities don't allow them, so that needs to be removed. There's a nice big crack here at the floor, and looks like they may have added this laundry tub, so now you can't get your washing machine up against the side of the house. And it's a truss system, and I ran the opener here, and it did not auto reverse. We like to see 2 handles on the door, one here and another one here, so you're missing a handle. And then the beam lights, the secondary auto reverse, these are set too high. They want them only 4 to 6 inches off the ground, so they're a little high. There are some cracks in the floor, and then there's a hump in the floor. So the high point is in the middle of the floor, and it slopes to the back and to the front. So that may have been from the original pour. And the last thing is the we call it the fire door it's not spring-loaded and not self-closing, and so we want that to close to maintain your 1 hour fire protection. So I have the ladder out here in front. We're going to climb the ladder and we'll look at the roof next. Now coming up here, the first thing we got is the metal valley flashing, which you like to see, and so they have that in place. And I'll have to figure out how to age the roof today. So first thing we look for how rigid the product is. So it is pretty rigid. So the more rigid it is, the older the roof is. The next thing we'll look at is the ridge cap, and they wear about 8 years. So the ridge cap are where the two roofs come together, and there's no apparent wear to them now. So it may be a 6-year-old roof or 6 or 7 years old. And this is the water heater vent, and you see it has the old vent pipe, old transite pipe, and they ran a metal pipe up through it. What happens in this case, the transite is an asbestos product. It's outside of the house, so that should not be a problem, but it cools down the hot flue gases, and to the point where it cools down, it doesn't have enough heat rise to left to come out of the system, and also it condensates, so now you have a asbestos condensate coming down through your house. It's a one layer of roofing, and they did not use a plywood diaphragm on it. And your very top vent here, that's for your furnace. And when you, if you ever replace the furnace, they have an old transite pipe here, and that will have to be removed. You can see the black soot here in the furnace, so it's not getting a very good burn. So we haven't ran the furnace, operated the furnace yet, and I'll do that here shortly. The back of the house, you see this spectacular view. It goes on for miles. And I'm coming down to the chimney, and there's some cracking in the bricks of the chimney. And I noticed a little bit of movement, or it's moved away from the house. And they have a metal flashing in the back. It's not a cricket flashing. And a cricket would be a raised flashing here and then slope towards the corner, so when the water comes down, it would slope around the chimney. But it is a continuous metal, so it works somewhat, but not as the best system. And you can see this crack all the way up through here. And so I would recommend you get a fireplace specialist to drop a camera down, because there might be some internal problems with this. There's some cracking in the cap, and what happens, the water will come down through the cap into the structure, brick structure, and each corner there's a piece of rebar that comes down, and it rusts out the rebar and pushes your bricks out. So you have some of that going on here as well. It does have a rain cap spark arrestor, which we like to see. And then the very back of the house, you have your power lines coming in. And they use the 3-wire method. They're independent. And they're older. And they're you can have the power company change them out. And as you can see with the winds and stuff, they'll be banging against one another, and the insulation over time will deteriorate, so you have a sparking condition. And they use a different type of cable today. I'll get to the very top of the roof, and you can see there's a couple half dome vents that gets the hot air out of the attics. You have some plumbing pipes that come up. We need that for our plumbing fixtures. And bring the camera around. The ridge cap still looks in pretty good shape. And when the roof hits about 8 to 10 years, you'll have to replace these because they start to deteriorate. So it's just a ridge cap. It's usually $400 to $600 to do the house. Then you can get another 10 years out of your roof. And so that's what you have. This is Greg Noyes, and I think I'm going to add a couple more. We'll add the furnace to the video, and I'll do that next. So I got your rower by your furnace, and I haven't ran it yet, but I just want to show you a couple things. You can see this filter has probably never been cleaned in a long time. It's a 14 by 25. You use a filter, which is a good brand. And I'm pulling this thing out, and we'll look inside. You can see all the dirt and all this stuff accumulated over time. So when you change your filter out, you want to clean, vacuum out the, we call it the bottom plenum box. And the filter, because you're only using it for heat here, you could probably get by and change it out twice a year. This is an older unit, original with the house, so we'll get this thing running here in a minute. And right off the bat, I see it's missing, we call it a sediment trap. It's a piece of pipe that comes off the gas line here. And the gas valve, if you need to shut it off, it's right here. So let me shut this off for a second. We'll get this thing fired up. Before we go on to the furnace, we're going to look at the attic. As I got up through the hatch, you can see all these charred wood. And it's this area over the hatch. So let's see if we can get this light here to... So they call it sistering. They put another 2x4 next to it, and then they join it that way. The only thing is they didn't use nail plates. Nail plates are these metal type plates here. So and also the soot. Usually they'll paint the whole inside of the attic, any of the charred wood, with a special type of paint to kill the smell. And so I don't think this repair has been done, was engineered. And when you repair trusses, it has to be per an engineer. A structural engineer has to approve the fix. And so I don't think the city is even given a permit for this fix too. See, this one board here is just a little short. Where they put in. So it doesn't look like it's done per any by an engineer or somebody to check it out. Now I'm going to bring the camera around to the trusses over the bedrooms, and see this first one's got this nail plate. The second one they put a T connector in. And so these have been modified. So, and you just can't go out and modify trusses. These truss systems is an engineered structural part of the house, and you have to have approved. They have to be approved by a structural engineer for any modifications. And due to the fact there's no, they haven't painted over with the white paint to kill the soot, I don't think even the cities approved this or even looked at it. So the next thing we're going to look at now is the furnace. So things keep adding up here. So we're over again at the furnace area, and I got the pilots going and the flame going. So it's a pretty even flame. It needs to be adjusted though. There's a yellow to it. So the gas company should be called out to adjust the unit here. In a minute here, hopefully the fan motor will start up. And so we have this vent pipe going up. You see this milky drips coming down. That's your transite, asbestos transite that's condensating, and it deteriorates a little bit. It comes down in a milky liquid. So you want to change out the transite to a metal pipe. So there you go. This is Greg Noyes of Pacific West Home Inspections, and I can be reached today at 818-271-0417 or on the web www.ehomeinspector.com.